Fatekeeper's the kind of game where you can see the vision and the path to get there, but the destination is out of reach and you haven't finished making a pair of shoes yet. Fatekeeper dropped into early access on Steam earlier today, June 2nd, 2026, at an introductory price of $8 US or your regional equivalent. As an early access game, this is more of a first impressions and feedback more than a dedicated review. The vibes are strong with Fatekeeper, and Unreal Engine 5 does a lot of heavy lifting to create immersive environments that you'll paint red as enemies ragdoll about from your wanton slaughter, or you're equally punished for your hubris. And make no mistake, enemies hit hard. You will feel it when random crunchy number 342 pokes you with a spear. And as I said, it is built on UE5, and the performance reflects that. There is shader pre-compilation, thankfully, but traversal stutter is on full display here, as the game loads the next chunk of the world while you move through it. My machine with a 9800X3D and 5090 with 64 gigs of DDR5 was averaging about 140 to 160 FPS at 1440p, with the DLSS set to performance mode, but without frame gen. And that's tolerable performance, sure, but this is also top-of-the-line hardware. I'm concerned for how it runs on mid-range systems without needing to lean on frame gen, which would be imprudent to use in a game like this with as tight as the combat timings are. Now, the store page does list a 3070 as the minimum system requirement, so that tells you something, I suppose. The graphical options are solid. Usual suspects are on display, and there's a good amount of granularity of control here. Well done. Exploration and world building do go a long way towards selling your overall immersion, and the enemy design is interesting enough. Enemy silhouettes are clear at a glance, and while there isn't much variance among enemies of the same type yet, what's on offer now is a solid start. If they can iterate and build on this as development continues, this portion of the title will shine. The voice acting is already solid, and the voice loading screens as you progress through the game are a nice touch. Meaningful character and emotion comes from the narrator, and the dialogues between your character and the rat familiar can be amusing without becoming distracting or on the nose or too much. Where I do start to question Fatekeeper is the combat. You're armed with light and heavy attacks. Some weapons also have a special, as well as a collection of spells, things like Firebolt, Ice Shards, Telekinesis, an AoE Force Push, etc. I came across one-handed axes, a two-handed mace, a dagger, and a two-handed sword in my time playing, and each of those do feel distinct enough in terms of moveset and overall identity. The two-handed sword does swing a bit too slowly until you unlock attack speed upgrades, and this is me being a bit of a pedant, but long swords are about 3 pounds IRL. So seeing this guy struggle to move the blade about and recover from swings is a little bit out of place. What I can't ignore are the hurt boxes and collision. And from what I experienced in our testing on stream, your weapon itself doesn't have a hurt box that matches its model. It's purely based on where your crosshair is when you click and the animation completes. This produces many occurrences of a near miss, which shouldn't or wouldn't have been if the weapon model itself was the hurt box. This means that you can't drag swing or accelerate or decelerate your attacks mid-swing, similar to how you can in something like Chivalry or Mordhau. Further, there's some weirdness with collision as a whole, which is most prominently on display with the first boss. Enemy attacks often appear desynced with their models. For example, you need to dodge the boss's charge well before he gets close to you, and it would seem like the right time to dodge in order to avoid getting hit. This phenomenon exists to a lesser extent with the other enemies, but due to the higher stakes of the boss encounter, it's much more front of mind there. My overall verdict at the moment is that Fatekeeper is a buy for $8, and forget about it for a couple months to wait for patches from the 13-person team. And yeah, that might seem like an odd recommendation to make, but right now I would say that the game is worth the 0.6 burritos, but not much more. And realistically, the price may rise as the dev team get closer to a proper 1.0. Get your $8 worth of playtime now, and then wait for polish and mechanics patches.